No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today we're in here with the one and only Dave East. How you doing, man?
Yo, what up, my boy?
Nice to have you in here finally.
Cool, man. How you feeling today?
Feeling good. Been listening to the album. Been enjoying it.
Knocking it?
Knocking it. I'm very intrigued because it feels like within the first couple of tracks, like it very much feels like you're trying to sort of take us back to the sort of, like you're trying to create a New York classic. Is very much the vibe that we got. And we really got Nas within the first couple of tracks telling us how important this shit is and how much he believes in you, which is big.
Right.
So within the first couple songs, like you go for a very direct appeal to, you know, like you're not making it at all obscured that you love classic New York rap. And
that's me. It wasn't even like it's not even like I was trying to do that. That's just like, if I was gonna tell my story, it had to sound a certain way. You know what I mean? I couldn't turn up and tell my story. I mean, so it had to be a certain production, a certain, you know, just me trying to explain what I was trying to explain. So in the beginning of the album, I just tried to bring you back to my life before the Dave East shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it had me thinking about like when you get to like storylines that appear in classic rap records, it really had me thinking about when Jay took Bleak for that ride around the block and tried to give him $1,000 and he wasn't having it.
Right.
And that just sort of was very much the energy that I was feeling right there.
Yeah. You know, Nas, that's big bro. That's who I owe a lot to. Most of this shit too, you know, he got me out the hood. He was the first one to give me a deal. So I feel like that was a long time coming as far as just me and him making a record like that. You know what I mean?
What is that process like when you decide like, okay, this is the song that I want to do with Nas? Because it's like that opportunity is always there.
Right.
It's always a possibility that you could hit him up about any given track, but you know, I'm sure you are selective with that. What's that process like?
Yeah, we got a few joints, but that one in particular, he was already recording it, and I actually walked in on him in the studio, and I was like, "What you doing with this?" And then we went from there. We went back and forth on it, but his process is dope. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to catch him in the studio or in that mode. You know what I mean? So that was a rare moment.
Yeah, he seems like kind of a, you know, when you get to that level of success from being yourself as a rapper, you know, he's not used to fucking having to show up on time all that often besides the shows or whatever. It just seems like Nas is like the definition of a dude who gets to that hip hop legend status and is very much just like, man, fuck everybody. I'm just gonna be me.
Yeah, he gotta care. I mean, he gotta want to do it, or you know, he gotta. It's what's dope with him. It ain't about no money. It ain't about that. Like if he don't care about it, you gonna know. You know what I mean? So for him to invest in me and put the time he done put in with me, and you know, just put his name next to mine is priceless.
Right, and it's kind of like, you know, you're obviously way earlier in your career than him, but it seems like you kind of have a lot of that mentality too, where you're very much kind of opposed to compromising in terms of just making that one hit record or whatever. It's like, you know, Nas was always very resistant to that. Obviously, he had big hits and stuff, but is that, you know, because that's kind of, I see the integrity of what you're building, that you're trying to build a long-term brand and you're not necessarily interested in having this one blowout viral moment in the short term.
Yeah, I ain't for that. I feel like I would have burnt out by now. You know what I mean? Like, that's dope for those that do that, but I want to create something, or I feel like I've been creating something that's gonna live, that's gonna outlive me. You know what I mean? Like everybody. Like I want something that's gonna be around. You know what I mean? So, and I know that comes with a certain type of music. That comes with creating a certain type of fan base that just supports you. You know what I mean? Regardless of the fact they're not jumping from artist to artist. Like they may be Davey. I feel like the diehard Davies fan is also fans of other people. But they gonna rock with me, you know what I mean? Regardless of what I put out musically, if I'm acting, they gonna go watch it. Like they just didn't invested in me as a person more than the music, you know what I mean?
Have you always been concerned about that sort of King of New York conversation? Because it's over the years, I feel like it's kind of like an opt-in thing. Like you can put yourself in that conversation or you can not. And that's always like a decision as a rapper because that's always been such a big conversation in New York. But a lot of people like I'm a big Bronson fan, and I always thought it was interesting that he never even tried to go near that.
Yeah, keep me out of that convo. I ain't no king of New York. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, Jay-Z and Nas still out here breathing. So there's nobody on earth that could, you know, say that. Like, that's from New York right now, that, and with them alive. Jadakiss is still out here breathing. Styles still out here breathing. Like, DMX is still, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that's still kicking and moving. So I don't feel like that's a title that you give yourself. You know what I mean? I feel like that's something, if the city say that, or if that's what people saying, you know, that's what they saying.
I mean, that's a good attitude. There's definitely a lot of people who throw themselves in that, though. Like, I feel like T.I., like, the main plot line with him early on was, like, this is the new young dude who's saying he's the king of the South. And that sort of, like, defined who he was. It's like, oh, he's cocky enough to say that? And it sort of makes everybody consider you in a different light.
Right. Like I said, I'd rather my music and the moves I make speak. I'm not the type that's going to be out here like, yeah, I'm the king of New York. I'm the king, like, because I personally don't feel like I didn't put in enough work to even wear that. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't been in it that long. You got dudes come out 1-2 years and they jacking they the king from somewhere. So that's keep me out that convo.
For sure. Do you? It's weird though, because it's like you're one of the biggest artists out of New York right now,
Right.
And it's like that when you're in New York. I mean, you're in that bubble, and it feels like New York is it, and nothing else matters outside of here. Like, so you can very much see why, you know, a lot of New York hip hop sounds so New York and shit like that. And it's just, it's kind of like, have you ever considered, like, would you ever have been happy with the idea of just being like one of the dopest rappers in New York, or did you always have loftier goals?
Nah, I always wanted to, you know, expand beyond the city. I feel like that would, I didn't want to be put in a box. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be like, oh, he's just a New York artist, or I wanted to just be my name, like, oh, that's Dave East. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't want no, oh, that's the New York dude. Like, I feel like you know that anyway. You know what I mean? So me moving around and working with this one, that one, being in LA, kicking it with these dudes, being here, there, like, I did that on purpose because, for one, I actually had relationships with these people outside of my own city, you know what I mean, where I could go pull up on them in they hood, stuff like that. But I wanted people to feel me everywhere. It don't feel good when you sell out a show in New York and then you come to LA and there's nobody at the show, like, you know what I mean? So that's what it show you. A lot of artists, like you just was saying, they do got New York on tilt, but they can't step out their city, you know what I mean? And once they get out of that, there's nobody know them. And that was a big fear of mine, because I was always traveling, always running around, and I seen it. I could see the dudes that music you only heard in New York and you didn't hear it nowhere else, no other club. You know what I mean? And then you got artists that's everywhere. So I wanted to be one of them.
Yeah, because when I think about it, like, because I lived in New York 2004 to 2010, and there's so much shit that I don't know shit about rap-wise because it happened outside of New York during that time period. Like, when I'm having conversations about even somebody like YG, it's like, I missed out on the early part of his career because I was only paying attention to Dipset and G-Unit and whatever was coming after that in New York and shit. And it was really only towards like 2010 where I started to like listen to a lot more, you know, Atlanta or LA, whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. Do you remember when you sort of became aware of the fact that to be a New York rapper was sort of like putting you in a different category than a lot of the other dudes on the game?
You know what it was? I think it was when I first started doing them freestyles, like Flex, Clue, like when I first started doing them, I had people telling me that, like, you know, being on that platform like that, rapping like that, you know, you got to come with some songs. You're going to have to come with some records, because if not, you're going to be a freestyler. They're going to think you just you know? And I had people in my ear telling me that, so I said, damn, I really locked in the studio and try to, you know, just start to create projects, different tapes that people could live with, and I could show, yo, I know how to put a song together. I'm not just put a beat on. I ain't, you know what I mean? I could do more than that. But yeah, early. That was probably like right before Nas signed me. I was having them talks with people, you know, telling me like, I see you on Flex, I see you doing that. Because I would go up to the radio on a regular, like I kept going up there just rapping. And it was getting my buzz hot in the streets, you know what I'm saying? But as far as like a broader scale, like people in Atlanta, VA, or like every Florida, Cali, like I had to start dropping them projects that had music that people could relate to, and songs that made people take me more serious. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, he really can make records. He really could put songs together. He got this one with this one. He working with this person. Like, so I wanted to take myself out that box quick. Like, all right, yeah, I do this, but then I got this too.
You
know
came
what I mean?
so close to like generationally that you could have been on like a 106 in Park battle.
Yeah, probably.
You missed out on that wave though.
Probably, yeah.
That was kind of rough.
That was right before me.
I remember like when at the height of like Dipset shit, that like Hell Rel had done that like a few years before. He was like, because once you were Dipset, it was like you couldn't even imagine a Dipset rapper going and doing that shit.
All right.
But he had the old footage of him doing that shit, and it was just like crazy for us to be like, damn, he was just like a regular non-Dipset rapper at some point.
Yeah. But I never was into I loved the battle, but I never was no battle dude. So I probably would have curved that whole.
You never thought about going there with it?
Nah, I ain't really. I used to like to watch it. What was my man Shaheed, the poster boy? I used to shout out to him. I used to watch him on it, but I wasn't into battling. Like I used to want to really like, I was like I said, I'm fans of Nas and Jay-Z, these type of people that they track record is crazy as far as just the content they put in music. So I was more focused on that. Like, what's my story gonna be? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I seen a tweet from a girl the other day. She was like, dudes will really have you over their house and then just start watching rap battles.
Yeah, but
and I'm like, I've done that to girls
big
for
fan
sure.
of that though. Shouts to all of them. Murder Mook, Loaded Lux, all of them. I grew up watching that.
But
so,
it puts you in a certain box.
yeah, I just didn't want to. I always wanted to. Like I said, I want to be able to do anything. You know what I mean? If Justin Bieber reach out, I want people to be able to say, oh yeah, he's got a song with Justin Bieber. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to just be hot in the 5 boroughs of New York City or just hot in a URL type of situation. I want to be hot everywhere, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where everybody can relate to what I'm talking about.